The drums, pleased to meet you again. How you all doing?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Doing well.
The last time we met, there's been a few sort of lineup changes, etc. And on to a 5-piece now. And, how's that? How you finding that side of things?
Good. I mean, we've just finished the day before yesterday. We finished a pretty extensive tour. We've been on the road for I think the better part of 2 months, maybe a little bit longer than that. Doing all of North America, some Canadian dates, and then Europe, all through Europe, and then an extensive UK tour. So right now we're a little exhausted. I think we're ready to go home. But I think the new lineup change is really, it's kind of given a new life to our live show, and in turn kind of given us, I think, a new, at least a breath of fresh air, and it's helped us get through, not only get through, but actually enjoy this tour probably much more than we would have.
Yeah.
Had we been doing the same thing that we were a year or two ago. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Last time I think we found it, well, not sort of exhausting, but sort of finding it. I don't know, the fame thing, as well, being noticed, being more recognised, a little bit more difficult. Have you got more comfortable with, people knowing who you are?
I'm not sure that we really have that much exposure to that. I'm not sure if we do have that sort of notoriety. I'm not sure that we're really all that aware of it, because we don't. I personally don't. I don't find that people like notice me on the street or anything like that. You know, I think we see it at shows because it seems like people come out to the shows, but yeah, it's not anything that's really that intrusive on day-to-day life or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think we, you know. Do you want me to wait for that?
No, it's fine,
right?
fine. It does pick up well.
Busy night.
Part of the atmosphere.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we really would even, if that were the case, which I don't know if it is, we wouldn't really know, because when we're not in New York, we're playing shows or we're in a tour bus, we never really have time to walk down the street, really. Maybe here and there, but overall we're not really exposed so much.
Yeah.
One time somebody recognized me, but it was because he thought I was somebody else.
Who was that then?
I don't know.
But how were you, the last album, was it well received as far as you're concerned, Portamento? Were you happy with the way it was received?
By the UK press, it was mixed reviews, and the rest of the world seemed to really like it.
Why do you think that was?
Because I think the UK press overall are pretty predictable with the second record. They, I don't know. When we started this band and we were getting like ultra hyped throughout the UK, especially, like, you know, pushed to the highest heights. We heard 1,000 times from 1,000 different people. They'll love you your first record, but just watch, no matter what you do for your second, they're going to just turn on you. And it's funny to kind of see that come to pass a little bit. But we all much prefer the second album over the first, so that's always been our goal. That's what's important to us. That's what makes us feel successful as a band, is that we're making music that we love, and we're not compromising. You know, it's about thinking long term, and not about pleasing people right now, because everything's fickle and everything changes. So all you can do is do what you love.
Yeah. I mean, have you got, since you've been on the road obviously a long time, you only got a month's break, then you got Australia, back to the UK again. So there's not that much time. But I mean, are you actually writing any more material as such, or is that something you do along the road, or do you need to have a break to write new stuff?
I think we're all pretty busy, kind of working on our own like individual projects, whether it be something that's musical or something completely not.
Like such as what sort of things then?
I don't know. I'm sort of getting into some visual sort of things, but yeah, it's kind of, you know, I think we're just the main goal is to not think about the next record. It's to really kind of get away from it all as much as we can, so that when we come back and make a third album, that we have this kind of fresh perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah. I think last time you mentioned that the Smiths were an influence on yourselves. Then you've got a label mate, Slow Moving Millie. We were over at Ireland this morning interviewing her. Have you heard that single? Please, 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 let me get what I want. You know, the really stripped down acoustic.
Yeah, who is this you're talking about?
Slow Moving Millie. So on Ireland, you know, please, please, please let me get what you want. They sort of covered it, and no, I just thought maybe it's on the same label as yourselves.
Yeah.
So he's got an advert for John Lewis, doing quite well anyway.
We don't get to learn about too much new music out in the UK.
What stuff do you listen to on the bus then?
On personal iPods.
Yeah.
I think there's this romantic idea that people kind of, like, through watching movies and watching television shows, have this idea that bands just kind of do everything together, or listen, all love the same bands, and
It's like the Monkees.
right. But I think we all are we have certainly, obviously, some things that we all love, but I think we're all extremely different from each other in just so many ways. And
There's overlap, There's overlap in all of our interests. But there's also things that, we disagree about.
What have been your sort of individual personal highlights of the year then?
I was going to rush something.
You're going to rush something?
I was going to rush
It's
something
not a
out.
complete thought. It still needs to. Oh, thank you.
I think, to be honest, I think playing the show we played, where did we play? Shepherd's Bush. Playing Shepherd's Bush the other night in London, to me, was my favorite. I think, as far as the band is concerned, it kind of felt like this milestone for us, and really special. I've seen a lot of my favorite bands play there, and it's really, I don't know, it just feels really special, and putting out a record that some people didn't like at all, and other people really liked even more than the first. You never know what's going to happen, but to have that show sell out, it just felt like, okay, this is great.
We gave it 8 out of 10 anyway.
Sorry?
We gave it 8 out of 10.
Okay, that's all right.
Thank you.
That's good.
What about the Roundhouse then? So the next, when you're back in February, is that going to be the largest individual UK show that you've ever played as a drums?
Is that
Apart
bigger
from
than
the festival.
Shepherd's Bush?
Yeah, probably, yeah. So it's big.
Apart from festivals, then probably. Yeah.
You played the Roundhouse before?
Yeah, well,
Supporting, Who did you support that time?
Part of the iTunes Festival.
Oh, actually, okay, yeah.
Scissor Sisters were on that night with us.
Yeah, no, it's a real good mixture of different bands. Who did you play with that night?
That was the Scissor Sisters.
Scissor Sisters, okay.
Which was nice. Animatronic came out and sang Don't Be Jerk Johnny with us.
Yeah?
Which was kind of fun. She's an old friend from New York,
Yeah?
so that was cool. What? Come on.
Yeah, what about yourself? What's been your highlight?
kind of all those things, and just being able to carry on and everything not falling apart.
Have you come close to it falling apart then?
Sure, every day.
Yeah. And this lineup change now
Fragile group.
has made it more stable now then? You feel more stable or still on the edge?
It's a strange sort of lifestyle to ever really feel stable in, you know? Unless you're selling 1 billion records, I don't think, I can't imagine anyone really feeling stable doing this sort of work. You know? But that's sort of what's exciting about it, I guess.
Yeah. So, I don't know, are there any tracks that you're working on at the moment that, you know, you can say it's definitely going to be on the next album, for example?
I think, like, going into the second album, we had almost, like, so much leftover ambition from the first record that we just, like, went right into the second one with you know, we had already, like, readjusted in our minds, and we already had a second album in mind, thematically, conceptually, and physically, spiritually. And I think right now, the first two albums kind of almost go together in a weird way. You know, I think right now we haven't started working on anything, but I think it's for the sake of how we do we need time to have like a natural recalculation of ourselves musically, you know?
To be excited about something, you can't be so absorbed with it all the time. I think you need to walk away from it for a little bit so when you go back to it, you remember why you're excited.
Because there's a lot of pressure. I don't know, you know, self-producing yourselves as well. I mean, what outside influences sort of come in and sort of helping you along the way? So you know, how do you know that you've done a good job?
You just know. You just know, and you really have to know, because you have a lot of, when your band gets to a certain level, you have a lot of people telling you that you haven't done a good enough job. You know, and they'll try and sort of sugarcoat it or present it in a way where they seem like they're trying to be constructive, but in actuality they're being pretty destructive to the way you want it to be.
Because there is no barometer as to whether or not you've done a good job. It's art, you know. But there are people that think there is some way of measuring whether it's good or not, you know.
I mean, some of our favorite recordings of all time, you know, if somebody listened to them now, and I think we have I think our records sound good. I think they sound well produced. I don't think they sound intentionally anything. You know, we actually try and do the best we can, and we're also very attentive, and you know, we try and like listen to them for what they are, and not say we want it to be like this, but it's only here. We try to listen as best we can and be attentive and recognize when something's good and when something's not good.
Yeah. And if you had to choose sort of 3 songs to for somebody that's maybe newer to the drums, let's say, what 3 songs would you pick out across the whole repertoire that people should, you know, these are us, this is the drums type of
So what you were, best friend. Yep. Yeah, what you were, best friend, and maybe like Book of Stories, or In the Cold. What you were, best friend, and In the Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the 3. I think that's kind of, you know, if you took those 3 songs and kind of made one song out of them, that's kind of maybe where the future of where we're going is. Sonically,
Good stuff. And festival-wise this year, do you know, next year, do you know what you're going to do in the UK?
Don't know.
Too early?
Don't know. I know we have a pretty busy year again.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're doing Australia and going back over and doing those Asian countries. And I think we're going to do 2 American tours. And I'm sure we'll be doing some festivals here. But we'll just soon tell exactly. We'll be around there.
Cool. And
we're going back in March, I know that.
Yeah. And I just heard you mention earlier on that you watched X Factor the other night. Then what did you think of that?
Last night.
I
was bored out of my mind, to be honest. I was kind of I have some friends who are really into it. I guess it's kind of like a really big deal over here.
It is for some people, and for some people isn't.
I thought it was kind of obviously completely ridiculous. Overwhelmingly sad, really, the reality of it. But whatever you got to do to not be bored, I suppose, right?
Yeah. I'm with you. I think I'd much rather see the drums any day than watch the X Factor.
Well, that's good. That's
sure.
not saying much.
No. Anyway, thanks a lot for your time. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and good luck for next year. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks
a lot. Yeah.
Good man.
Nice. Never done that before.
Thanks a lot.